Family violence is a very real, very serious problem, and far too many people are victimized by abusive spouses or partners all across the country every single day. So, that's not what we're talking about today. What we're talking about today is the rare occurrence that is still an occurrence, it happens, in which somebody is falsely accused of committing family violence. Now, when I say rare, I would hope that it was rarer than it actually is. It's actually more common than most people think. However, it's not the majority of cases, but there are plenty of cases, especially here in Texas, where somebody is falsely accused of family violence. So what do you do if you find yourself in that position? That's what we're talking about this week, so stick around and let's talk about it. Happy Friday, everybody. Hope you're having a great week and gearing up for another good weekend. Before I get into the video, I just want to remind everybody of two very, very important things. The first is I am officially kicking off the 2024 campaign for me to raise money for Extra Life, a charity that I take part in every single year that raises money that directly benefits Children's Miracle Network hospitals. So look for the link down below in the video description for more information on how you can help me raise money for just this awesome, awesome charity. Second is, as a reminder, every Wednesday night and Sunday night, I do a live stream over on Twitch, the web address down below in the video description, and we talk about really anything that's on your mind. So I look forward to having you join me over there for just an hour. On your Sunday or Wednesday evenings, just stop in. You can even stop in for 5 or 10 minutes, say hi, let me know what questions you have, and I'm happy to answer them over there. So, talking about false accusations in family violence cases. Like I said in the intro, they're not the majority of cases or false accusations, but it happens more often than people would like to think. So if you're in a situation where you've been falsely accused of family violence, what do you do? What are some tips that I give pretty much all of my clients? The first one, it should go without saying, is get yourself a criminal defense attorney ASAP. I mean, do not wait to do that. Even if you haven't been charged yet, if your partner or spouse or whomever has made a report to the police and they're simply looking into it, get yourself a lawyer. Do not do anything without, talking to them about it, talking them through the situation first. Because there are many, many, many ways that people who don't really know what they're doing can mess these cases up and make it far worse than it needs to be, far more difficult than it needs to be. So get yourself a lawyer or at least consult with one. Most consultations, at least in my office, consultations are free. So there's no harm in finding a lawyer to sit down and talk with and say, this is what's going on. Do you think I need a lawyer? Do you think I need to do X, Y, or Z? There's absolutely no harm in at least doing the consultation. Even lawyers that charge consultation fees, that consultation fee is typically only a couple $100, just a well worth it cost to at least get some good, sound legal advice that is custom tailored to your situation. So that's number one, get yourself a lawyer. Number two, and this is the one most people find very difficult, you have to extract yourself from the situation. And here's what I mean by that. You need to make sure that until this gets cleared up, you do not put yourself in a position in which additional allegations can be made against you. That would happen when you find yourself in a situation where you're alone with your accuser with no witnesses around. Most people, it goes against, especially if it's somebody you've been in a relationship with, there's this feeling of, well, I want to work it out with them. I want to get together. Let's just get together, just you and me, and we'll talk this through. And that could be a very good, very healthy thing to do eventually. But right out of the gate, you need to make sure to protect yourself. I've seen many, many cases where there has been one false accusation, and then in an effort to reconcile, the parties get together, they're talking one-on-one. It doesn't reconcile the way that one or the other party wants. And so another accusation or allegation comes out of that conversation, and it compounds the problem, makes it worse. So don't do that. If you do want to have a conversation with that individual and they're open to having a conversation, I would suggest having a mediator present, not a formal mediator, but a family member, a friend, somebody that you both trust that can be there to observe, and that if somebody comes out and says, he hit me during this or she hit me during this, that person can say, no, that never happened. There was an argument, there was words exchanged, but no physical violence occurred. Have somebody there with you. So that's number 2. Number 3, and this one's important, document everything. While it's fresh in your mind, I would recommend write on a piece of paper, letter to my lawyer, because then it becomes attorney-client privilege. Write out the timeline of exactly what happened during the argument in question. Details matter. Very, very specific as you can. Details matter. And the reason you want to do this up front is because as time goes on, memories will fade and you'll forget certain details that may not be important, but they may end up being incredibly important when your lawyer takes a look at the case. So document that. Write down a specific and detailed timeline. As text messages come in, or emails, or Snapchat messages, or whatever, make sure you're saving those or preserving those, because those could become important. The tone of those messages, if the person who has accused you is consistently reaching out to you in an aggressive or hostile manner, even with you completely ignoring their messages, that can be used to demonstrate the mindset of the accuser. That's something that the lawyer can use to show that there is an aggressor in this situation and it's not my client. So those are important. And along those lines, that kind of transitions right into my 4th point, which is do not use a messaging service that deletes the messages afterwards. So WhatsApp or Snapchat or any of those in which the messages get deleted or stored and there's no way to preserve those, do not use that service. Just outright don't use it for this type of situation, because we're going to need that evidence. There's going to come a time where those messages could become vitally important. And if we can't get access to them because they've been deleted, it's to your detriment. It is going to be to your detriment. So don't use those types of service. And then finally, I would say go ahead and, again, a difficult thing to do, but if it has gotten to the point where it is just contentious and incredibly hostile and aggressive, block that individual on all social media accounts, on all text messages accounts, on all phone accounts, and just give them no way to reach you. And the reason that's important is because, again, if this person is accusing you of being this aggressive, hostile, violent person who has abused them, if we can demonstrate, well, we have blocked this person on every platform and they continually try to go around the blocking and make contact with us, they continually try to get back to us, that could be a way that we can demonstrate what the actual story is and what the actual dynamic of the relationship is. So it's important that we make the effort to distance ourselves from the situation, to isolate ourselves from the situation. And if the other person continually tries to go around it and continually tries to make contact anyway, that's something that can work in our favor. So do all of those things. I would also recommend, I highly, highly recommend getting yourself involved with a counselor, a mental health professional, because being accused of something like that is a trauma. It is a traumatic experience and is something that you will need to process, and you will need to grieve, and you will need to help work with somebody to mentally get over. It's not something that I think you can just easily set aside, brush off, and say, well, that was crazy, and move on with your life. So get involved with a mental health counselor. That's another really good thing that your lawyer can use in terms of providing context to a police officer or a prosecutor when the time comes. So those are all some tips. Again, that's just kind of a basic, surface level, bare bones, generic type of tips. With your individual case, there will likely be other specific things that I would want you to do, but those are case by case basis and person by person basis. So that's why it's so important that step 1, talk to a lawyer and let them direct you on exactly what they want you to do, because every case is different, every client's different, and so you can't take something that you saw on YouTube as the gospel truth. So hope this was helpful. Hope it was at least a little bit informative. As always, if you have questions over this or anything else, you could leave a comment below, but what I would prefer you do is join me on a live stream Wednesday or Sunday evening, 7:45 p.m. Central Standard Time, and ask away. I love talking about this kind of stuff. So ask any questions you can. And some questions I can answer and some questions I can't. And we can look it up together right there on the stream. That's part of the fun. So I hope to see you then. I hope to see you next Friday at the next one of these videos. And until I do, everybody out there, be good, stay on the right side of the bars.